Okay, welcome to the next Blender of tutorial. Tutorial of Blender. Blender of tutorial, where did I get that from? So what we're going to be doing today is a high contrast lighting geometric kind of piece. We're going to go ahead and just click off the default cube right here, and we're going to go ahead and add a plane. We'll press S to scale, just to pull this up a little bit. And what I'm going to do, let me think, I've just got some notes on here that I need to look at. Okay, so what we're going to need is we're going to need a plain white background with this, which will work pretty well. So let's go with material and just make sure that this is, the base color is just up here. So what we're going to do, let's go with add. And I'm going to go with Taurus. And I'm going to go ahead with Shade Smooth, right click Shade Smooth. Let's go ahead and rotate this by 90. And I'm just going to press G, bring this up. I'm going to go ahead and just scale this down ever so slightly. And you'll see why in a moment. So if you are wanting to make a desktop background, this is probably really nice kind of project to make. So I'm just going to go ahead and just scale up this plane just a little bit right here. And then I'm going to bring the loop that we've made right here down to the plane. Just make sure that it's just above right there. Okay, so once we've got this, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and just place our camera just slightly above. I'm going to go just slightly behind actually, because I'm going to have the light over this way. So let's go ahead and go to view, align view. Try and get that loop just on its side, because this will work better if it's on its side. And we'll go align camera to view. Just right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and split the atom real quick. Just here. And we're just going to move this back. So what we're going to need to do is take this lighting right here and place it on the other side and place it quite low. So let's go with G. We'll bring this across. We'll bring this down. And maybe we want to go just about here. So I'm just going to go ahead to the render tab real quick. And if you haven't already, change out Eevee to cycles. Let's press render just up at the top corner right here. And we can see that we've got these nice little shadows forming. So we kind of want a high contrast with this. So what I would say is let's go with the lighting at the moment. And what I'm going to do, you can turn up the exposure if you'd like to. That kind of gives it a little bit more contrast. I think I kind of like that actually. Let's see. You can mess around with the radius a little bit. I would say pull the radius all the way down so that you've got that nice little sharp edge. You can mess around with the power if you want to. It's totally up to you. I would say let's go on to regular mode just for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and go 7 to heaven. So we've got our camera here, we've got our lighting here, the shadows are going to go this way. What I want to do is let's go Shift D on the little loop that we've got here. And I'm just going to go ahead and rotate it by 90. Just as such. And then I'm going to click them both. Holding Shift. Let's go Shift D, move this across, just like this. Let's go G, bring this up. So you've got something like this, and then we'll move this across. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate these ones as well. Just to the middle as such. Let's go ahead and select them all and just kind of make a little bit of a pattern. Shift D. Yeah, you're going to probably have to put some little loops in the middle, but that's okay. You can kind of have a variation if you want to. Or let's go with Control Z just for a moment. Let's deselect these ones. Or even just let's select these ones in the middle right here. Shift D, move this across. Oh wait, no, sorry. I did that wrong. So you're going to need this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Shift D, move across. So you've got this nice little pattern going on. And then you can kind of like Shift D this down. And then So you've got something kind of akin to this. It doesn't matter if they're all over the place, because the idea is that we're kind of wanting to get that nice little contrast going on. It's kind of like, the reason why I wanted to do this tutorial was so that you guys could experiment with lighting, because that's going to be a huge thing in season 2, really. Yeah, we're going to be doing like projections in season 2, so like I'm totally stoked for that. I've actually filmed them already, so we can like do spotlights with projections on them. It's currently images that I've done. I mean, we can do videos, but it's going to be editing kind of thing. Like, maybe we'll work on that later on in the year, but we've got projections using different things. So yeah, I kind of wanted to get you guys used to the lighting, especially if you're just following it along with the tutorials and stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys like the tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay guys, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're looking at doing a little bit of bokeh or bokeh, however you want to pronounce that, for a scene. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm just going to go ahead and just tip the scene just sideways just a little bit. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to actually place our camera in this place. So what we're going to do, let's go to view, align view, and align camera to view. So with view, align camera to view, right there. Okay, so potentially what we want to do is make a bokeh effect in the background, which is where we're blurring stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this up just ever so slightly. Just to about there, I think. Oh my gosh. Right. Just to about there. I'll keep it there. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on an object within the middle of the frame right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and set this up just to make sure that this works, so that we have the right amount of space. So we're going to go to depth of field, focus. Let's go focus distance. Select the cube. Right there. So now we have the cube selected. We're going to go ahead and just place the f-stop down to 0.1. And then what I'm going to do in the background right here is we're going to get some emissions going. So UV spheres, right click shade smooth. We can put G, just pull that back. Now you'll notice that this starts to blur out, or at least should do, as we're going along. If you've not already, change your cycles engine to, change your render engine to cycles. We should have blurred objects in the back right here. So in theory, this should be perfect. So what I'm going to do is change this to an emission. Yep, so we got the emission right there. We can go ahead and change the color of the emission as well. We'll go for a nice red for this one, nice orangey red. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a glass in the middle right here. So this is going to blur as soon as you get rid of the default cube. So if we press delete, we now have no focus object within our scene. So what we're going to do, let's go to add, and we'll go to, you can go to circle. You want to make this glass pretty big for what we're doing. So S to scale. We're going to go with edit, and we're going to press F for fill, E for extrude, and essentially we're just building glasses again. We've done many tutorials on building glasses in the past. I'm just going to move my phone out of the way. I'm kind of like at an awkward angle here. So yeah, with the glass, you want a little bevel around the outside, so let's go E for extrude, scale that in just ever so slightly, and then E for extrude, scale in. Let's see my notes real quick. Yeah, so it's practically, I think it's a brandy glass that we're doing. So let's do G, just bring this up just slightly. E for extrude, scale this in. And then we want quite a wide neck compared to a wine glass. So let's go in just there. I think we should have that a little bit more smoother, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to press G, just bring this up. E for extrude, scale this in. Just press G just to bring this down just ever so slightly. E for extrude. I'm just going to scale it in just slightly, and then E for extrude, and we'll start going up with this. And we'll start getting a little bit wider as we go up, because this is only a small stem. And then when we get to the actual glass itself, where we're keeping the booze, that will be a little bit wider as well. Let's go with that. And then I'm just going to go E for extrude and just scale this outwards. As such, E for extrude again, let's scale this outwards. And you want to be slightly over the base of the glass when we're doing this. Just about there. And then we're going to go E for extrude again. Kind of a funky little glass that we've got going on. And then we're going to go in for this glass. So E for extrude again. And we'll go in. You're going to want a little bit of a lip right here. So we're going to go E for extrude, leave it where it is. Scale it outwards just slightly. And then E for extrude, bring it up again. E for extrude, give it that bevel. And then E for extrude, leave it where it is, scale it in. And then we're going to go to X-ray mode right here. And you want to press 1 on the number pad just to go to the side. And we're going to go E for extrude, bring this down. E for extrude again, bring this down. S for scale. And then we're just going to go E for extrude. S for scale. E for extrude. And then we're just going to go ahead and scale this in. Just at the base right here. Just make sure the glass is a little bit thicker at the bottom than it is at the top. Just gives that nice little bulb look. And we should have something like this. So now we'll go back to objects mode. It's a little bit squared off, but we're going to go with shade smooth. And then we can come over to the materials tab right here. Click new. And you're going to go with glass BSDF. I think it's glass, yeah. Okay, glass BSDF. Turn down the roughness. And now we've got this nice little tumbler glass that's going on. So what you want to do at this point is get a plane just in the background. S for scale. Make sure your camera and your little lights at the back have got plenty of room to move. So we're just going to go ahead and just elongate this, essentially. And I'm going to go ahead and press G and just move this camera back just ever so slightly, and G to move the camera upwards as well. And maybe rotate just to get that nice little effect going on. Come on. Might take you a while to do this. It's a little bit fiddly. But then you can press G and just come back in just ever so slightly. Now, the glass itself is out of focus. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to put the glass into focus. So we're going to go depth of field again. Go to your focus on objects. Click the little drop tool. And then select the glass that you've just made. Make sure that your f-stop is completely back as well. So we're going to have to do some little jiggery with the lighting here as well. So what I'm going to do, let's pull that back. I'm going to take this light right here. Let's delete this. I'm going to go ahead and add the studio lights, which is a plane, which is elongated. So add a plane, elongate it, press G, bring it up. So you should have something like this. We're going to rotate it just to the side, just ever so slightly, and then we're going to make it an emission. So come back to your materials tab, we'll go to principal BSDF and emission. So with this one, we're going to press G, bring this across. So you have some sort of light source there, and we're just going to turn the strength up as well. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take this as well and place it on the opposite side. So now you can see that we have this nice shiny glass. You can see that it's round. And what we need to do now is the bokeh effect. Now, you can do this in one of two ways. You can have a light shining down straight down, or you can have lights at the side. It's totally up to you, but the lights at the back need to be different. So to make them pop a little bit more, we'll go to the world settings. Let's go with colour and just make everything black in the background. So once we've got to this part right here, we need our little luminous pieces. So we're going to press G. Let's bring this up. And you want to make sure that the lighting is a little bit darker than the lighting that's going to be at the back. So with our bokeh effect, we know that we have that UV sphere at the back right there that we've clicked all the way up here. We need that to be lighter than this. So let's press G. I'm just going to go ahead and just bring this up. If your camera can't see the bokeh at the back, just click on the camera itself, and what you want to do is go to end under lens and just elongate it. So let's see, this is going to take some little fiddling from your side. So let's go to our bokeh on this side, if it'll ever let me. So I just turn it onto that setting, it should be fine. So this is our little light, if you guys can see that. Just about there. So let's go ahead and scale this up a little bit. Let's press G. I'm going to bring it forward. We'll see what happens with that one. Let's press G and just bring it down just slightly. The idea is to shift D it, duplicate all of these so it looks like something's fallen in the glass from the background. So it's kind of just like this nice little kind of artistic bokeh effect going into the glass. Let's go ahead and put some of these down here. Remind me of little Space Invaders. So yeah, it's kind of an idea of you're looking at a glass that's being filled. Just put them randomly in places. And then what I'm going to do is take this little floor that we have going on right here, and I'm just going to pull it back. So press G, and then you can just pull that back. It just gets rid of that little red line that's going on at the back there. Just makes it more central. So, just kind of a nice little artistic effect you can do. Totally up to you with what you'd like to do with it. Just thought I'd show you this one. Thought it was pretty cool. You can also add different colours in there as well if you wanted to. So, in the end, your project should look something similar to this. Obviously you won't see the grid reference and stuff when you click render, but this is kind of like a nice little lighting effect. I think it works better with photography, to be honest with you, than it does with Blender. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, like this tutorial, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okay, welcome to the next tutorial on Blender. So today we are in 5.0 and we're going to be learning a little bit of lighting just to start us off. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and just delete the default light right here. We're just going to go ahead and click delete. I've got some new screencasting keys just here so you guys can see what I'm doing. If these are a little bit too small, just comment bigger inside of the comments section and I'll make them slightly bigger. I tried to make them the correct size as I had them on the last software, but yeah, I don't know the dimensions properly, so if they're a little bit too small for you guys, you know, just comment, just tell me. So let's go ahead and we'll take the default cube. We'll work with the default cube on this one. What I'm going to do, let's go to side view. So we're going to press 1 for side view and we're just going to press G to bring this up just to the red line just here so that everything is kind of flat. And what I'm going to do, let's go 7 to heaven and let's go Shift D, and all I'm going to do is, just for an example, I'm just going to go Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, duplicate these all over the screen. They don't have to be perfect, this is just kind of a lighting example, so you know, do as you will essentially. Let's go Shift D again. I'm just going to go maybe halfway down the box, just select all of these, Shift D, select these again, Shift D. I'm just going to select them and make them central, so let's press G and move them up, just to about there, and then press G again, move them up on this side, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just duplicate outwards as such. So what essentially we want to do with this is we want to make some lighting in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and add a plane. Let's go to 7 to heaven again. S for scale. And I'm just going to go ahead and just scale this plane out just as such. So this sits in between each one of the cubes. So we could just go about here. So if you haven't already, go to your render engine tab and switch out Eevee for cycles. So once we've got to this point, we don't have a light currently in the scene, and this is the full render shading port right here. We're going to click the little plane that we've just put in right here, go to materials tab, click new, switch out principal BSDF for emission. And we're going to have something like this now. So we now have this kind of like deep lighting between all of the cubes that we've just made. But if we want this a little bit brighter, we're just going to go ahead and adjust the strength as such. And you won't be able to see the cubes as much at the bottom right here. So this will kind of just wash that off, I guess. If you put it to a lower strength, you'll have something like this. Something that kind of looks a little bit more gothic, a little bit more creepy kind of thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put this to about 2.8. So with this we want to change the tones in the background. So what I'm going to do, let's go to shading tab. Show you a really neat trick. So we're going to go 7 to heaven again so you guys can see what's going on. We're going to be working with the plane in the background right here. And we can see that on the screen right here, we have this as an emission right here, the material output right here. So what we're going to do, let's go to add, and you can go with any texture really for this, it doesn't really matter. So last time that I did this and when I was experimenting with it, I was working with noise texture, and I mean noise texture works, but I don't like the noise texture one, but you guys can try this, it'll work with anything. We can go with Voronoi this time. Let's go to color. You notice that you get all these little patches coming through. If we go ahead and add the noise texture real quick, I'll show you guys what's going on with this. So if we change this from the Voronoi to noise like this, you're going to get this, which is a lot softer. To be honest with you, with this tutorial I want something that's a little bit more sharper. So if you'd like the softer one, noise textures for you. If you want something that's a little bit more sharper, Voronoi is for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just knock the noise texture off the screen at the moment. Let's work with Voronoi. So when we render this out, we can see that we have something like this that has different tones and colours. Now, this is okay. If you want to work with something like this, you can totally work with something like this. You can scale this up, you can scale this down. If you scale it down, it's going to go to one solid colour. If you scale it up, you're going to have many different colours coming through here. And if you experiment with the roughness as well, that will change little details of how the colour reacts. So this is totally up to you. You can add a colour ramp into this if you want to. And you can add your own tones and your own colours in here. So if we go to add and then we type in colour ramp, just place this in the middle, we now have black and white. So we can move the black over and we can have patches of light missing if you wanted that. Alternatively, we can turn this black off, change this to a red. Take this white right here. You can change this to a blue. If you guys need the same colours that I've got, just look at the hex right here. Just put this in. And you should be able to get the same colour that I do. So now with the red and with the blue, we've got this nice purple tone going on. And again, if we just reduce the scale right here, you can see that we've got kind of two tones coming in right here. And if we scale this up, you're going to get more of a pinky purple, because obviously red and blue make kind of a pinky purple. So especially with the colours that I've just chosen, usually it's a purple, but for this one it's kind of a bit offset. So yeah, it depends on what you really want to do with this. Maybe you've got a keyboard design or something and you've got some underlighting. I don't know what you really want to do with this, but it's an idea. Let's go ahead and just press plus again. We'll get something in the middle right here. Maybe we could go with the green. And now we've got these nice little offset oranges and offset kind of turquoise coming through as well. Yeah, so I mean, like, you could move the cubes a little bit closer together if you wanted to. You could add, I don't know, some patterns on there or something like that. You know, especially if you're making a keyboard that's got the lighting underneath, you're probably going to have keys that are going to come out at the side just a little bit here. And maybe you could put translucent letters or something like that. Maybe glass keys, I don't know. Totally depends on your design, really. But I thought I'd just show you that. That's something that you guys can do with some lighting tricks. Yeah, if you guys liked, please subscribe, share, and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to get my watch hours up at the moment, so any help would be great. Thank you very much for watching. See you later. Okay guys, welcome back to Blender, and what we're going to be doing today is a blue flute. So we don't need the default cube right here. We're going to go ahead and add a circle. Let's go S for scale, just to bring that up. Let's go edit, and we'll go F for fill. We'll go E for extrude. Scale outwards, and then E for extrude again, scale outwards, and then we're going to go ahead and just scale inwards just at this point. And maybe you could angle this up just a little bit, just G. And then I'm going to take the base as well, so let's select the base. So E for extrude. And we're just going to go ahead and go inwards, and then E for extrude, and then we'll go inwards at the bottom as well. You can use the X-ray mode to see exactly where you're going. So I'm just going to go ahead and press G and just bring that up just ever so slightly, and then E for extrude again, and then scale inwards as such. So let's take this top face right here. We'll go E for extrude again, scale in. And then we'll go for E for extrude. Sorry, we'll go for S for scale. Sorry, 1 second. G, just to bring it up. And essentially what you want to do is do a little spire just in the middle. So S for scale. And then we're going to go E for extrude, S for scale again. And then we'll go E for extrude, and we'll just bring that up as such. So what we're going to want to do is make this really thin as well. So maybe backtrack, scale it up. and then E for extrude to make that a little bit thinner right there. So let's go and make the top bit. So let's go E for extrude, scale outwards, E for extrude, we'll scale outwards again, E for extrude, and you just want to bring this up at the top, and then E for extrude again, scale inwards just slightly, E for extrude, leave it where it is, scale it in, and now you've got this nice little lip around the outside. I'm just going to go S and scale back just a little bit, and then E for extrude, go down. And essentially what you want to do, as I've said in the rest of my tutorials, you just want a nice little gap between the outside wall and the inside. We'll press G, bring this down. And then E for extrude again, and we'll just go ahead and scale this in very neatly at the bottom. Just as such. So, we're going to go to the object mode right now. Shade smooth. And let's add this as glass. So we can change out the principal BSDF to glass. And then we wanted a blue flute. If you haven't already, change your render from EV to cycles, so that you get this nice little glass. Add, and then we're going to go plain. And then we'll go with the light as well. Exposure. I'm just going to go ahead and just pull this light just ever so slightly. And then I'm going to go ahead and change to the opposite side as well. So you can see with this flute there's a lot of black kind of up at the top here. I think that's the reflection from this. So don't worry too much about that. But what you can do, you can change the IOR if that's something that kind of bothers you with your project. Just go ahead and mess around with that. I'm just going to go ahead and take this piece at the bottom right here, this little plane, and just move it around. And this is our glass right here. So we wanted a blue one. Let's go ahead and tint that blue. And that's how you make a blue glass. If you guys liked the tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are doing neon signs, and I'm going to show you how to do text and different text styles as well. Let's go ahead and delete the default cube. Let me get my words out. So let's go to render, switch out EV to cycles, and I'm going to go ahead and add text in here. So just go to add at the top, and then we should find text. There we go. Okay, so we have the text right here. We're going to press 7 just so that we can go straight above so that we can see what's going on. What we're going to do, let's go to edit. And what we can do from here is we can go ahead and type in anything that we want, really. So, you know, there we go. I typed something in. So once we've got something like this, you can put anything that you'd like. We're going to go to the data at the side, which is the large green A. And we're going to click that, and we can go ahead with geometry. And what we're going to do here, because this is really flat, we're going to extrude this. So you want to go under geometry and then just go and extrude that right there. So we should have something like this in the end. So now we need a text type that's going to look pretty good with this. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the text types that I have because it pops out into another box and then it shows you all the text types that it does on Blender. For some reason, my recording software won't show that. Don't ask me why, but it doesn't. It just shows the actual recording of the Blender software. So, to get a different text type, and I implore, please, try different text types, we're going to go to fonts right here. Go to regular, and you want to click on the open font at the side, which is a picture of a folder. So now I've got my open fonts on the screen right here, and you can see my mouse moving around, and I actually have hold of the box that I need to use to find the fonts. But unfortunately you can't see it, which is just bizarre to me. So what I'm going to do is, you've got different ones on here once you access this. Just imagine that my box is there. What you want to find is something that is preferably joined up letters or joined up writing, and you want to find something that has very bold contrasts. So nothing like a paintbrush stroke or anything like that where there's holes in the middle of the actual letters themselves. You want something that's bold, something that's together. So a really good example of this is Blackadder ITC Regular, which is this one. That's probably one of the best ones I would use for Halloween, but let's try a different one right here. So we have the Alex Brush Regular. That's probably really good for any sort of neon lighting. I'm probably going to stick with that one, but we also have, let's see, I'm just going to go down the listings. Just see if I can pick some more out. You've got Creepy Girl Regular. Creepy Girl Regular is pretty good, but that's more for Halloween. And you also have Dancing Script Regular, which is this one. Which is kind of, it's a lot nicer, but I would say that because of these little loops that are coming through, it's not really material for background lighting due to the fact that it's crossing over itself and there's no light going over the top of the other bit. So let's go ahead and change this back to Alex Brush Regular, and we'll work with this one for today. So we need to rotate this on a 90-degree angle, so let's go 90 right there. I'm just going to press G and bring this up, and then I'm going to add a plane in here. Let's go rotate by 90 again. Just bring that up again, so G to bring up. And I'm going to go ahead and just press S to scale. This will be the wall where we'll see the writing. So when we go to the render option, make sure your render engine is in cycles to begin with. And then we'll go ahead and just render this on the main screen. So you'll see that there's no light at the moment. So we need to make this an emission. So if we take this, we go to the materials tab, we can go new. You want to go for surface right here. Principled BSDF, click that. You should have a drop down menu that appears just like this. For some reason this drop down appears and the other one doesn't. I don't know why. But let's click on to emission. Switch out that Principled BSDF to emission. And now we have this glowing text, and we can go ahead and we can change the colour on this and the textures. So maybe I could have something like this, kind of like a nice cherry red. So we have that in the background. To lower the emission, we're just going to go with strength, and this will lower the emission. And if we go upwards, we can see that the emission is a lot bigger. Now, the more that you add to the strength of the emission, the more this will turn more of a paler shade to what you have, and then you'll have the lighting at the background. I kind of like how that's done, but at the same time, I would kind of want that texture that I originally chose to be on the text. So, yeah, that's a nice little way that you can do neon. Let me just turn this down just a little bit. What I would do, purposely for this, is let's go back onto regular render for a moment, because usually what happens is when you've got something like this where it's an emission, you generally have glass behind it, or you have some sort of border. Now if it's stuck on a wall, you generally have a black border just at the back to kind of pull out some of those tones a little bit. But if it's glass, I guess, like you hang it in the front of a shop or something like that, it would be glass at the back. So, yeah, let's go add. Let's go with cube. I'm going to go G, bring this up, and then I'm just going to go ahead, scale it down. G, bring it back, and then S to scale going across. And then just place it on the background just here. Maybe we can scale this down just a little bit. Let's press G. G to go across, and then S is to scale. Alright, so once we've got something like this, we can now see this looks a lot more pronounced compared to the background. We could change the tone on this actually. Let's go to materials and go with black. So if we just go black, you see how that pulls the writing out a little bit more. It's got more contrast. So if I take this one and this one, just to show you as an example, when my computer catches up. Hold on. So take this one and this one. Shift D. Right, I'm going to go ahead and minus the material off this so it's going to be white. And then we've got a black background right here. So if I just get these into focus right there. Can you see how the top one's a lot more contrasted? You can actually see it better than the bottom one. So this is generally why when you see it in pubs, restaurants, bars and all that kind of stuff, it's a darker background in the back than say a lighter one. And also you've got windows as well. Windows, if you've got neon in windows, it's glass at the back so that you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, so that's the tutorial. I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. Okay guys, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a candle inside of a glass. Let's go ahead and delete the default cube and change the render engine to cycles. And what we're going to do, let's go to, we can start with the circle. Let's go ahead and edit mode. F for fill. E for extrude, and you just want to extrude this at the sides. E for extrude again. And we'll extrude this at the sides just slightly. And all we're doing is just making a nice little bulb for a candle to sit in. And then we've got E for extrude. And then eventually we can start bringing this back in. Let's go scale on that one. We've got E for extrude again. S for scale. Let's go ahead and we'll delete this face just on top right here. We're going to go and select everything with A, E for extrude, and then scale outwards. And then we can go and make this right click, shade smooth. Let's go new. We will switch from principled BSDF to glass BSDF and take down the roughness. So we should have something like this. Let's add a plane so that you can see the glass underneath. And all we want to do is put a tea-light candle inside of this. So let's go ahead and add a cylinder. We'll press G to bring this up. Shape it down into a tea-light almost shape. This will be the center of the candle right here. And what I'm going to do, let's go add. We'll do another cylinder. Just press G. Scale this one outwards just ever so slightly and then scale this down. So this will be the edge of the candle. We're going to go ahead and just put this into silver. And then just give it a little metallic reflection. Just as such, maybe a little bit more roughness. And what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and add another cylinder. Elongate this one. Let's take this off this. Elongate this one. Scale down. This will be the wick. Let's press G. Bring this up. And we can right click shade smooth. And then add. And we'll make this one black. Okay, so once we've got our tea lights and stuff, we need a little flame. So I'm going to go with an icosphere. Icospheres are generally good for this. Let's press G. Just elongate the icosphere with S. Scale down. And then we're going to go ahead and just place it on top. Now, you can smooth this if you want to. You don't have to. But I like to tilt it so it looks like there's a flame kind of being blown on the inside. From here, we're going to go New. Change out Principled BSDF. Change it to Emission. And you want to go for a nice yellow-orange kind of emission. So, when we take the tea light candle and its little flame, and we go G, and we place it inside, let's go ahead and just put this on side view. So, we can place this inside right here. We can now put this onto render. Make sure that you're on the emission at this point. Get rid of any external lights. And this is what your tea kind of cup candle holder should look like. A little bit of emission. You can also take the roughness down of the glass. That generally gets a lot more light out. And yeah, I think we're done. So it's just like a little tea candle kind of thing, little set piece, I would say, little prop. Yeah, so have fun. You know, design what you will. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. Okay guys, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So, we are doing a few tutorials over the next couple of days. My internet connection has actually decided to not work recently, which is pretty annoying because I was ill and then I had my birthday, you know, just kind of celebrating, and then I decided to come back to Blender and then the internet connection decided not to work, so it's been off for the last 2 days. We're not too sure what's happened, but we do know that we've had a lot of rainfall. So if you've seen this video, it's been recorded a couple of days ago or however long. I've not been on YouTube really. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a hallway kind of red, gold and black kind of theme. I'm going to start with the pillars to begin with, and we'll make those, and I'll show you how to do all the materials and the textures and stuff. Sorry, I've got notes below me of what I want to do on this project. And then I'll add the walls in and the skirting boards and all that kind of stuff. So, let's go ahead and make the pillars to begin with. What you're going to want to do is switch to render, switch out the EV to cycles, because we're working in cycles with this. And then also I've got the screencasting keys right here so you guys can see. I'm going to start with, let's start with this cube right here. Let's go to edit mode. Usually we delete the default cubes, but it doesn't matter. So select your face option right here, just at the top. We're going to go with G, bring this down. I'm going to go ahead and split the atom here actually. So we kind of got a side view of what's going on. So on this side, what you want to do, just click anywhere really and just press 1 on the number pad. If you've not got the number pad, you've got view, and then you can do viewpoints, and then you've got all these options as you can see right here. So what we're going to do, we need to select the top on here. We can see that the pillar's going to be sideways just here. Let's go with E-fret extrude. Just bring it up just slightly. Scale this in. So you've got that nice little bevel on the outside. E-fret extrude again. We're going to scale in. And then we're going to go E-fret extrude, bring this up. Just ever so slightly. E-fret extrude, keep it where it is. Scale it outwards. You just want it to come within this. So let's go S for scale. I'm just going to scale that down. So you see where the edges here for the face that we've just made and the edges here for the face that we just made, you don't want to exceed that. So we're going to go E-fret extrude again. 1 second, let me just get this in the right position. So E-fret extrude again, bring it up slightly. And then you can do a little E-fret extrude, just a little bevel on the outside, just very tiny. Just as such. So you've got that nice little round corner right there, if you guys can see that. I'm going to leave this like this actually. We'll go E-fret extrude again, leave it where it is, scale it in. You're going to want to scale in to where the original pillar was, just here, so you're almost in line. So let's just S for scale and pull that in again, just up to that line, ever so slightly. We're going to go E for extrude, bring it up. E for extrude again, leave it where it is, scale it outwards. Try and get it to the exact same specifications as the last little bump that you did. E for extrude, bring it up. Oops. There we go. Don't know why that didn't work, but try and make them roughly the same size. So we've got one square here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So just try and make that roughly 13. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this, I'm just going to press G, just bring this up to where it needs to be. And then we can go E for extrude again. And just scale across. And that's generally what you're doing. You're just scaling across, E for extruding. We'll do about 4 of these. Don't worry about the other pillars that are going to be within the scene, because we're going to be duplicating this particular pillar all the way around the scene so that you've got less work to do, essentially. You can alter the materials on them if you want to, so if you want to make them look different, you can add scratches and stuff like that. Just press the duplicate material and then edit what you need to edit in there. So what I'm going to do, let's go and scale this image just ever so slightly. E for extrude again. And then we're just doing the exact same thing that we did last time. So let's scale this in. Bring this roughly to where we need it to be. E for extrude, bring it up. Again, just rough it. E for extrude. Keep it where it is. Scale outwards. And get it back to where it needs to be. Then we're going to do E for extrude, roughly 13 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. As an estimate. E for extrude, give it that little bevel. Try and get that into the exact same position as closely as you can. Just mostly doing this by hand, so you've got this nice little thing going on right here. And we'll do one more. So let's go E for extrude again. Keep it where it is. S for scale, bring it in. And then we'll do E for extrude, bring this up. Give it a rough estimate. We're going to go E for extrude. Leave it where it is. S for scale, bring it out. And then we're going to do 13 up again. So E for extrude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 as our estimate. E for extrude, couple up, and then we'll scale this in. Just as such. I'm going to actually press G and just bring that down a little bit. I think I went a little bit too high there. Okay, so we're going to do E for extrude again. Scale it in. Bring it to where it needs to be. And from what my notes are saying, the base needs to be slightly shorter than the outer bit. So basically the base is going to be a little bit bigger, and then it's going to go inwards and then come back out again. So let's just assess this. So we do have a base that is bigger on the outside. Now you can alter this if it's a little bit too shallow on this side. So what I mean by shallow is, you can take this bottom face right here, and if it's not big enough on this square, just press G, bring this up, press S for scale, let's bring it outwards a little bit, make sure that you've got that nice little bevel coming off the outside and it's nice and smooth, G to bring it down, and then we can go E for extrude and we can make that box just a little bit bigger on the base, just right there. And what I'm going to do, let's place this here, and then we'll go E for extrude and then make a slight bevel just at the bottom. So it's totally up to you how big you want the base of this pillar to be. But that nice little bevel on the edge just gives it some edging, just gives it a little bit more roundness. So if we go to the top option right here, we can go E for extrude and we can bring this straight up. You can scale this in as well. And I believe you can do a mirror modifier on this, so you don't actually have to do the other side, which is neat. So let's go Ether Extrude, bring this up. We'll try the mirror modifier, see what happens. Totally up to you how you want to do this. I mean, you could do the top by hand if you want to, because the top on mine is a little bit different. But say like you wanted to duplicate this, we could go to the modifiers, mirror, and you could kind of modify this on the opposite side. Let's see. I mean, you could have the mirror modifier on that side if you wanted to. Press G. And it will modify it, but for this particular one, we don't need it. That's just a little example for you. Say like if you were doing pillars and you wanted to make them sort from the middle kind of to the sides. Really good idea to do it like that, so that you get that nice little symmetrical shape. But what we need is, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make another square on top of this, because I think it would look better with another square rather than just having it as one piece. So let's go with object mode right here. Let's go ahead and add cube. And what you want to do is you want to scale the cube. Try not to move it. Just ignore my commands there. Just press G. Bring this up. And what you essentially want to do is, if we go to X-ray toggle mode right here, we can see that we've got the base of the pillar, and then we've got this new part that we're making. So we're going to go S for scale, bring it down, press G, and now that should be the exact same length all the way around, as long as you've not moved it. If we press S for scale, we can scale this up, make this as tall or as small as you'd like. We'll press G again, bring this up. So this really depends on how tall you would like it. If this is too tall for you, for your room, just go ahead, select the face on top. I would just press G, and you can bring this up, and you can bring this down to your liking, to where you need it to be. So with this particular one, what I want to do is we want to create little pits within the actual piece itself. So let's go with Control R. Scroll the center scroll right here. And you want to try and make it as even as you can. So let's go with, so we've got, if we go for the faces right here, we've got this one, we've got this one, we've got this one, and then suddenly we don't have an even on this side, so that's not works for us. What I'm going to do before I do all of this scrolling stuff is, let's go Control R. Let's get a cut-off point at the bottom, and then let's go ahead and get a cut-off point at the top. So we can go Control R, and then we'll get the cut-off point there. We'll go Control R again, and hopefully it should be even on this side again. So we could go 1, 2. If you do this on the side, actually, let's see. So let's get the cut-off point again. Just ignore me, I'm trying to show you something here. So if you do this sideways, you go Control R, and you get this on the side, you can actually see how many lines you have. So we've got 4 parts there. It's probably not going to do us. Let's see. So we got 1, 2. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. You could do it like that if you wanted to. You've got 3 lines on that one. For my one, there's a little bit more to it. So let's go to scroll again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 lines in the middle. So you're just basically counting. I'm kind of like pointing at the screen here. You guys can't see what I'm doing. So let me show you on the screen. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the kind of pattern that you want to be pushing through. So you've got this nice little edging right here, this edging right here, and then the edging in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and just press S for scale, and just scale this down just ever so slightly, just in the middle right there. Let's take off X-ray mode so you guys don't get confused of what I'm doing. So you've got one face here, one face here, one face here, and one face here. You've got this nice little border edging going on. So let me show you that again. One face, one face, one face, one face. S for scale, scale them inwards. And then what we can do at this point, we can go E for extrude. So if we go from this side right here, E for extrude, bring them back. We now have these nice little lines within the pillar. And these nice little edgings. So on the opposite side as well, which you won't see from this side. See what we can do here. So we're going to get those edgings again. And we're going to want 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to want 4 in the middle. So let's go Control R. You're going to want that nice little 4. So hopefully that's 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sugar. We got 3 on that one. Give me a minute. Let's go again. Control R. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't look right. 1 second. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go one more. I think you're going to be wanting to scroll roughly 5. 1 second. This confuses me because I can't see the edge of this one. 1, 2. Yeah, I think 5. 5 should do it. Okay, so let's check this. You can always backtrack. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's exactly how we need it. Let's go S for scale. Scale this in. And then E for extrude. Just to go through on that side. Now, you'll notice that we've done E for extrude on the front here, E for extrude on the side here, but this side and this side hasn't been done. So what we're going to have to do with this is if we backtrack before we extrude, select 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go E for extrude, leave it where it is. And what you want to do is S for scale. So S, and then we scale inwards, just as such. Because this side right here is going to be facing the back of the room. So that we can just rotate it round to where we need it to be. So you're not going to be really seeing it. If you want to pull the sides out there, you can do. My dog has got his bowl and he's like literally throwing it around. It's not time for his feeding yet, but because it's winter now and because the sun sets a little earlier, he thinks he's getting fed earlier. Or at least he thinks that he's not being fed. And it's not that he's not being fed, it's just the sun set earlier. And I'm guessing that he associates food with the sun setting. So, yeah, he's throwing around his bowl. I'll go give him something in a minute. Yeah, so let's get on to the rest of this tutorial right here. So, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make maybe some kind of funky kind of stuff on the opposite side. So what I'm going to do, I might go grab his bowl actually. Go give him something. So let's go Shift D. I'll finish this off with you guys first, and then I'll go do that, and then magic of video editing, I'll come back. So let's rotate this by 180. Did I click 190? That should have been 180. Let's go R for rotate. Let's do that again. 180. There we go. Right. So you're going to want to do the X-ray mode just about here. G, bring this up. So that it's just sat just there above. I'm just going to take the X-ray mode off and then just put this onto the side. So you guys can see what's going on. I might actually pull those vertices out, to be honest with you. If you guys have already done it, cool. But it's just so that you guys can see what's going on. So let's go E for extrude, just bring that back just ever so slightly. And then you've got that. Okay, so once we've got the pillar like this, what we can start doing is adding some little details into here. So maybe we could just reduce this just ever so slightly and then add the details to it. So let's go G, bring this down. And what I'm going to do is start doing some colour mapping. So just give me a couple of seconds, I'll be right back. Right, that's one dog all fed. Right, so magical video editing, I'm back. So Right, so I've changed my mind on this one. Whilst it's really good to have a pillar that is almost symmetrical, what I'm going to do is let's add some colour to this. Let's add some materials to this, some textures to this. And we'll see what we can do with the top part, because I would like to add textures before I start adding things onto things. So what I've actually got, I don't know whether you guys can see these. Hold them up to the camera a little bit. Hopefully that focuses. So these are different rocks. So what I've got in here, it's supposed to be like kind of a kind of I don't know what you call it, a spiritual shop or something like that I went to. So I've got crackle quartz, banded agates. I think I'm absolutely butchering the names of these. Hollow lights, and I've got some obsidian. So what I'm thinking is maybe we could copy some of the textures on these. So we've got this one. I don't know. Oh, this is a soldalite. Soldalite. You see the textures on that? It's almost like a marble kind of thing going on. So that would be really cool for like some posh stuff. Then I've got some hollow lights, which again is like a marbly texture. And then I've got two rocks that look very, very, very similar. So you've got obsidian, and then you've got black obsidian and black onyx, and the two of them look incredibly similar. Like, hold on, sorry if you're wearing headphones. They look incredibly similar. Now the webcam doesn't really pick them up that well, but I want to try and get some of the textures into this scene, and get some funky kind of looks going on. So let's go ahead and we'll do like, say, an obsidian kind of tone. Let's go to shading. Let's take this center pillar right here. We'll go to new. And what I'm going to do, let's go to add, and we'll go color ramp. Spot the American way, I always forget. Color to base color. We'll do some black coming up, take that roughness down a little bit, make it a little reflective. I'm just going to put it onto the render option right here so you guys can see the tones and stuff that I'm using. And maybe we'll add a, let's go layouts just for 1 second. Add a plane. Scale this out. And just press G, just bring it down. This is just going to help with the light refraction and stuff as we're doing this scene. So let's go with shading. We've got this nice little obsidian, so I'm just going to call the material obsidian. Maybe we could do onyx actually, because obsidian's quite uniform. Onyx has like a little bit of kind of marbling to it, so maybe we could do onyx. Let's go with ONX. Is it ONXY? Where's my onyx? ONYX. So let's go onyx with that one. Black onyx. Yeah, it's got like some grey marbling through it, so I kind of want to replicate that just a little bit. So we're probably going to need a noise texture on there. So let's go with add, and we'll go noise. Let's go colour to FAC. And you want to be able to just pull the roughness up just a little bit, scale it up. I think scaling up would be the best. And then maybe we could pull the whites towards the black a little bit, just to give it that nice little kind of variation. Just reduce that detail ever so slightly, and then scale it down. And then what I'm going to add as well, because we've got this nice little kind of pattern on there, maybe just alter some of these settings, distort it a little bit. I mean, you guys can copy the settings on here. I'm not in the way, am I? So last tutorial I was in the way. Right, I'm going to place myself right here so you guys can see what's going on the screen right here. So, let's go ahead and add, and I'm going to go with kind of like a blue as well, just to kind of give it that little bit of more marble kind of tone. Just to pull some of that colour up a little bit. Where's my blue at? Kind of want that kind of tone. Okay, so maybe reduce the blue just ever so slightly, but just kind of give it that kind of off black. So roughly about there, right? I kind of like that. So we're going to need to turn down the roughness, the metallic up, because this is kind of like a marble kind of theme. And the lighting, to be honest with you, I'm going to edit the lighting. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do the lighting afterwards, but let's just give it some more power. A little bit more exposure so you guys can see what's going on. You can see that nice little reflective stuff now. A little bit OTT on the exposure, but it's just so you guys can see. So what I'm going to do, let's make this uniform as well. So let's take the base that we have right here, and instead of selecting this material and remaking everything, we'll go to the drop down right here. You're going to go to Onyx, and this will give you the exact same tone as above. So, with these parts as well, what I want to do is let's go into edit mode and we'll get a gold in here. So we're going to go all the way around. So I'm just going to go ahead and just place this on normal render so you guys can see what's going on. We just want the surface as gold. So we could do gold here, gold here, gold here. You could do, if you had an additional stripe like I do at the base of this pillar, you could have gold here as well if you wanted to. If you don't have it, just loop cut it, Control R, and try and get it that way. So, all selected right here. What we want to do is we want to go to the Materials tab, press plus right here. We'll go New, and this will be gold. So we'll try and keep the gold as standard. Kind of want a metallic with this. You can change it to metallic or you can do it manually. It's totally up to you. So metallic BSDF instead of principal BSDF. Base colour, you want kind of a nice little orangey gold. We're going to do roughness down and click assign. So when you come back to the render now and you click off this, you should have a nice little gold going around the edge of this. Let's go to object mode real quick. So you see that we have this gold now. So what I'm going to do with it, because it seems a little bit too uniform, is I'm going to add a couple of bumps to it. So let's go with shift, just to get rid of these. Come on. For some reason it's not responding. Just at the side there, we're going to go add, and we'll go with noise texture. And you can go ahead and add this onto the roughness. See if that works for you. So now we kind of have this less than uniform gold. Kind of little imperfections. Maybe people have been walking past and they've scuffed it up, or maybe someone's not cleaned it, or, you know, maybe it's just like a rough texture. Maybe it's like leaf gold. Maybe it was a rough cut on the actual pillar itself, and the leaf gold was applied over the top of it, and now we can see all the little bumps of where the tools were used. So, you know, give it a little bit of a story, I guess. You can put an edge tint on this as well. Whatever you would like. And just kind of mess around with some of the settings. See what's going on. You know, just so that you've got that perfect little gold patch. So, with this as well, we've got roughness. Take that up, take that down. Whatever you'd like. I think that looks a little better. So, the reason why I was saying we could do this bit beforehand is because we're going to duplicate this. So I'm just going to take the top of this, top of the base. We'll do with edit mode. Select the top right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and just assign a gold to this top part as well. And maybe just do the trimmings as well. Just around the edge. We can assign this to the gold rather than the onyx. Okay, so once we've got this, take the base, Shift D, bring it up. And then once you've got that, we can go alpha rotate and we can go 180. If you go back to your layout menu, we could go on X-ray right here. We can see how far up this is going. Totally up to you. It's your design. And we can place that just on top as such. So now we should have something that looks like this for the pillar. So let's I'm just going to investigate my notes again. So we need this pillar, and then we're going to do some walls behind, and then we've got to do the skirting boards as well, or what is considered to be the skirting boards. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and add, let's go with a cylinder. Press G, bring this up. We're going to do some little details on the top of the pillar, and then we'll do the rest of the room. So alpha rotates. You want to rotate this to the side, 90 degrees. Let's go with edit mode. Take your front face right here and take your back face right here. Press delete. And you want to delete faces. Press A to select everything. E for extrude. And then S for scale. And then what you want to do is just make sure that's scaled in just ever so slightly. S for scale on the outside just ever so slightly, and then S on this scale, and then E for extrude, scale inwards like that. So when you've finished this, what you should have is some sort of tunnel like this with that nice little bevel on the outside. So we'll go ahead, we'll go object mode, we'll go shade smooth, go to your materials tab right here, your drop down, and we'll go gold. So now you should have a nice little gold going on. What we're going to do with this, scale this out, just as such, scale it back in. And we're going to start placing this on the side of the pillar. So you're probably best to scale this side on this screen and then position everything on this screen. So we press 1. So we've got that nice little side view. Let's scale this down just ever so slightly, just to about there. Press G, and then you can start moving stuff around. So we can have nice little detail here. Let's go Shift D, move this across, try and get them roughly in the same place. Nice little detail here. Let's select both of these. We can go Shift D, move this up. Place those there, nice little detail, and then Shift D again, we could go ahead, scale these in, and you could press like S to scale in just a little bit. So you've almost got this kind of symmetrical thing. It's fine if it's not completely symmetrical because it kind of looks like maybe the craftsman just kind of had it off just a little bit. So I mean you could go ahead and adjust it if you wanted to. So it's like about that much, and then this one is a bit further out. It looks like it's been made by a person rather than by a machine kind of thing. Let's go outwards with that one a little bit. And what we can do, these two ones that are in the middle, oops, because obviously we've scaled them down, they're going to go sideways as well. So let's just make these uniform, scale them across. Just a little bit so everything sits together. And when we render this, it should look something like this. Now if you don't like the texture on this one, you could go ahead and change it to whatever you'd like. You could go ahead and change the side profiles here. We could go and add, let's go with cube. Press G just to bring this up. Oops, where's it gone? There it is. Okay, so with the cube itself, what we could do is just kind of box this off a little bit. So we could go S for scale, scale it down, press G, oops, bring this across to the back here, scale this in, oops, scale this across, G, bring it back just a little bit. You can kind of make this little border. And then you can change the tone, the material to gold. That should be gold. Yeah, it is. Just go ahead and just bring that back and just align it a little bit. And then you can take this and Shift D it and just move it across to the opposite side too. So just about there. So that's an idea that you could do with your design if you wanted to. Nice little pillars. You could add some more stuff to that if you wanted to. You could have like some little gold bits. You know what? I'm going to add them. Let's add some little gold bits. So let's go with these at the side. Let's go Shift D. So you want the squares. What we're going to do, scale them out just a little bit. Scale them down. So they're almost like little pieces. So let's press G. Bring them to the middle just as such. And then you can start scaling these down and just making like little details. So we can go Shift D. Move this across. Scale this down a little bit. Shift D, move this across. Scale down again. Oops. Let's go S for scale. Shift D. And then S for scale, just bring that back down just a little bit. And then just duplicate these on the other side. So essentially you're just placing this as that one. And then you're essentially just taking this one and Shift D. Just place this here. And then the last one that we can do is the Shift D. And we can place this here. You could also vary the materials that you have. So we have this nice little green coming through at the back here. This kind of nice little marbling. We could have this as kind of... I don't know what you would call it. It's... let's go with duplicate this. Duplicate this. So we got gold one, right? So we're going to go green gold. Change the colouring to kind of like a nice little green, I guess. Edge tint, got green again. And what you want to do is do this with the rest of them too. So let's just move that down just ever so slightly. This is the kind of roughness that I'm messing with. And then we can go ahead and do the drop down. We could go green go again and green go again. This one. So we've got that nice little variation in tone. Just to kind of make things pop out rather than things blend into the background. So yeah, you could have something like that. I think the light's a little bit too much in this scene. Let's go ahead and just reduce that. So this is what I was trying to show you. This is the kind of pattern that you could have with your designs. Totally up to you what you want to do with it. You could bring this one forward and this one forward if you wanted to. Make it look a little bit more solid. Let's press G. Oops. Come on. Press G and bring that forward so it's a little bit more solid. Yeah, if that's the kind of design that you want, you can do that. If you want any other design, you can do something different. So let's see. We've got the little pillars right here, and my notes are saying that we need to do the walls. Also, my pillars have a little bit of a gold stripe on them, so I might just add that as well. So let's go with edit mode. I'm gonna go. Let's go on this mode. Control R. It'll let me do it. Come on. We just want a little trim just down the side here. So Control R. And this little trim can go on the front. Let's select the faces. Scroll this across. There we go. Okay. So let's select the faces right here. We could go with plus. Go drop down. Gold. So everything's standardized. Assign. Now, if we go back to object mode and we go on render, we can see that this pillar's got a nice little gold stripe going down the side of it as well. Bit OTT, you could also do stripes in the middle if you wanted to as well, but to be honest with you, I'm just going to leave this as is. I think it is a little bit over the top. It's kind of going to Wonderland vibes. But we've got this one now. And we'll start to make the walls and some of the details. So, let's go. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of pull that across. We'll use that later. Let's go ahead and select everything that we've just made. Box select if you need to. Let's go Shift D and we'll move this across. Let's go 10. Actually, no, let's go 20. Yeah, okay. So, if you guys didn't see that, just press, you're just pressing G, going across the line, and then just press 20 into the number pad. So, we'll go from this bit right here, we'll go to add, let's go plane, rotate, and we're going to go 90, S for scale, bring this out, we're going to go G, bring this across, make sure that it sits between two of the pillars that you've just made. We could go with edit mode, edge mode, select the edges right here, press G, bring this up, and then this one is pretty much perfect, just in the back there. You maybe want this going halfway through the pillars, just there. And then what we're going to do at this point, let's go to shading tab. What we can do is, let's go new, and we'll call this wallpaper. Did I really just do that? Wallpaper. Wait a minute, my typing's not great today. Okay, wallpaper right there. Let's go ahead and add, and I believe the texture was Gabor. Phase into base color. And what you want to do essentially is just kind of edit this. So we've also got like a, almost like a marbling kind of texture. And what I'm going to do, let's add a noise texture into this. We can add this to any of these, depending on what you want. So you kind of scale this up a little bit, give it a little bit of texture just in between. Just change the roughness, pull that back. You can distort it. I wouldn't say distortion is going to be a huge thing, but totally up to you. Just kind of improve that frequency and scale it down, scale it up even. So you've got that nice little marbling coming through. Now from this point you want to take the noise texture and the Gabor texture just to the side real quick, and we'll add a colour ramp. Just in the middle right here. We're going to add a nice little red. Just to the texture. We're going to want black and red. Mostly. Than we do with the white. So the white can stay, but you're going to want to pull the black up just a little bit as well. So it's kind of like this nice little wallpaper that's almost like kind of texturized. Let's go with frequency, just bring that down. Maybe a little bit more. just going to scale up that noise just ever so slightly. And the detail as well. And maybe the roughness. So we've got this nice little pattern going on right here. Take the roughness up as well, because this is a wall. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make some bordering around the edge of this. So usually what you have in houses that have almost like this kind of decor, we're going to take this back a little bit so we can make those pillars a little bit more prominent. Let's go ahead and add a cube. Scale this up so that it's roughly the same size. We'll go back to layout actually, so yeah, you guys can see. Let's go G, bring this up, scale it downwards, just ever so slightly. You're going to want it so that it sits just at the back of the pillar. And then scale it just inwards, just ever so slightly as well. So let's see if I can just get rid of this just for 1 second so I can show you guys. Let's go G. This is going to be just to border the wall just a little bit. And what you want to do is take this. We're going to go down to the materials tab. Go to Onyx. And you should have something like this once it's rendered. So it's a nice little kind of border that's going across. And then we're going to do another little border here on this side. I might actually change that wallpaper. I don't like it. So yeah, we've got the border just there as well. So you've kind of got this nice little onyx. You could go ahead if you wanted to with this background that we've got right here and get rid of the onyx if it's too much. Come on, minus it off. Let's get rid of that. Right, and we go new, and then we can just do black. Pull the roughness up just a little bit. Let's just rename that as black. Okay, so once we've got this on this side, just going to go ahead and just scale this down. Just make sure this is kind of more uniform, so there's nothing hanging off the edges. And then I'm going to go ahead and just press Shift D and move this across to the opposite pillar as well. So if you have kind of a little bit just hanging off at the bottom here, it doesn't really matter because the floor is going to go above it. And what it allows you to do, if you need to do some editing later on, you can just go underneath the floor and just click on a certain object rather than trying to click on them in the scene. So we've got that right there. Let's go ahead. I'll make the border a little bit. So what we're going to need to do, we were just trying to think here. So if we have that as a central line, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's add. We'll go with cube. So you're going to want to go 10 across, just with these. Should be absolutely fine. Let's go with edit mode. Take this face right here. Press J, bring this across. And then I'm just going to press G again and we'll bring this cross onto this side too. G, bring this up. And maybe we'll have this about halfway through the wall. And then for this side as well, I'm just going to pull this in just at the side so that it's not interacting with the pillar. So, come on. There we go. Right, okay. Let's pull that G just at the side there. So we've got that nice little border that's coming around at the back, and then we've got this nice little kind of border thing here that's coming in through the front. So what I'm going to do, let's go with E-fret extrude, bring it forward just slightly, scale it inwards so you've got that nice little bevel. E-fret extrude again, keep it where it is, scale it inwards. E fret extrude again. Keep it where it is. Scale it inwards just slightly, and then we're going to go with G and bring this back just in here. E fret extrude. Scale it inwards slightly. And we're going to go E fret extrude again. And scale it inwards. E fret extrude. Move it up a little bit. Scale it inwards. And then E fret extrude. Drop it back. E fret extrude again. Keep it where it is. Scale it inwards. And then E fret extrude. Just bring it forward. And then E fret extrude. Scale it inwards. And then E fret extrude. Just bring it back. So this is going to be a nice little piece for the side wall here. Let's go onto edit mode just for 1 second. Sorry, the objects mode for 1 second. So as you can see, when we render this out, we have something that looks like this. So now we need to make this a little bit more uniform. So we can go with black obsidian, or we can go with onyx. So it depends on what you want to do. Onyx is going to look like this, with the patterns coming through it. And to be honest with you, it does look quite nice. It's like a posh pants kind of tone to it. Let's go with edit mode real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and edit some of the stuff that we have here. So let's go edit mode. We'll make the middle right here. Let's go plus. And we want to go gold. Let's select the middle right here. We can make that gold. We could go ahead and select this little border right here. And make that gold. Oops. Yeah, let's go back on that one. Let's select this border, make that gold. Yeah, I'm going to click assign on these ones and then we can edit this one later on. Oopsie. Let's go gold, assign. Yeah. Okay, so we should have something like this. And then we're going to go ahead and take this object right here. And let's go Shift D, move this across to the opposite side. Just as such. So you should have this nice little kind of piece for the wall right here. The next thing that we could do, we could add a shelf just in the middle here, just kind of give it some more detail, and then the shelf at the bottom would kind of look okay, but I don't know about that one. So let's go add. We'll go with cube. Let's press G, just bring this to the middle, and then press G just to bring it up top. S for scale. And you're going to want to get it just on the edge right here. So we'll go G, bring this in. S for scale. Just sideways there. G. Just bring it down to where it needs to be. And then we're just going to go S and scale across. And what we can do with this one, we could do edit. Control R, just running down the middle, just as such, if you guys can see that. Control R running down the middle, and then we can do, select this top face right here, E fret extrude, just as such. Whilst you've got this face selected, let's go to add, we'll go onyx for the entire thing, plus, next drop down we go gold, and assign the gold to that edging. So now we've got this nice little pattern, this nice little gold thing going on. If you wanted to, in the middle right here, you could add the details of the pillars. So if we take these green ones right here, let's take those real quick. Control D, bring them down. G, bring them across. You could just place them in the middle of just here. Oops, we're missing one. Hold on, let me backtrack. Okay, yeah. So, bring that down. G going across. You'll notice that it sticks out quite considerably. So we just need to alter that as well, but you can see where it's going. Just in the middle, just here. Right there. Okay, so now we can press S. Scale this inwards. Press G, just make sure that's nice and flush, just there. Shift D, move this across. Just to in there. And now what we should have, let's get rid of this. Let's click off that. Is this nice little kind of posh-ish. I think I want to change the tones on it, to be honest with you. But yeah, this kind of posh, nice pillar kind of setting. Now with this, you can actually take this and you can make this into a room. So what we can do to make this into the room, let's go ahead and just get rid of that bitch for 1 second. So all of your tones should be the same. So if you duplicate anything and it's got a certain material, it's got a certain tone to it, it should just copy onto the next bit. So let's go ahead and we'll just box select everything because this is just a lot easier. Box select there, just double click to get rid of the background. We don't want to include this pillar, nor the background to the pillar because obviously we will have it here. So let's get rid of the camera as well and the lighting. Right, so we go Shift D, and all you're going to do is just bring this across to the opposite side to there. And it's a bit of a bigger wall. Shift D, bring this across to the opposite side. You want to rotate this round, so alpha rotates and go 90 degrees. Press G. Bring this up to the pillar at the back right here, and let's press G and just bring this to the side. It's totally up to you if you want to turn the pillar as well. That's totally your design. To be honest with you, I'm going to pull this just a little bit sideways. And obviously we've got the gap there, and what I'm going to do afterwards is I will amend that. So, we don't want any interacting vertices like this. Let's go G. You can bring this forward if you want to, but we essentially, come on. We essentially want it like that, so there's nothing interacting. And then we've got that up against the wall to a point, so let's get G. And you can just place that in just there. This is why we have the additional background on the side. And then we can go Shift D again. Move this across. Just make sure that's almost linear. Shift D again, move this across. Just to about there. So now you can see that we've got this room made. I'm just going to press G and just bring up this floor, just ever so slightly. So I mean, this would be great for gaming, say if you were making rooms and stuff like that. You have something like this. So this is what it should look like. I'm going to go ahead and edit the lighting actually because I just feel it's just too much. Let's see what the lighting is on my notes. Oh, I have chandeliers. I have chandeliers. Oh my goodness. If you guys want to learn chandeliers, I already have chandeliers on my channel, but the notes are stating chandelier. Chandelier is going to be pretty big, but I can do, I kind of wanted to do textures on this one, but you know, that's going to be interesting. So maybe I'll add the chandelier in the end. I'll like edit the chandelier in, and then I'll put the link to the chandelier build in the description. Mustn't forget to do that because that's going to be something that you guys would want. Okay. Oh gosh. You know what I need? You're hearing this? I need one of those set bags, you know, that they use on movies. Like, they don't make noise. They're like silicone. So, there's no rustling. Let's get rid of this camera real quick. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, place the ceiling, and then I'll put some additional lights. So, I'll just put some studio lights on there. Let's go Shift D. Studio lights just for the time being. So, we've got this right here. We're going to go Add. Let's go with cube real quick. We'll get some emissions on here. Totally up to you if you want to do this little bit, but we can do G, move this across, G, move it down and up. Then we can change this to an emission. So let's go new, principal BSDF, emission. And when we render it should be something like this. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, so you guys can see the room a little better. I mean, there's a lot of editing to do to this to make it look a little bit more lifelike, but this is what we're working with just at current. So the next thing that we need to do is make the floor. So the floor is going to be a series of cubes. And they're going to be different tones. So let's go with add cube. We'll just press J, bring this up. Scale that down. Now you can have this as the onyx, you can have this as the black obsidian. Let's go to the shading tab real quick. But what I want to do, let's try and get some different tones in this. So let's go add. And we'll go with color ramp. Just in here. We want some red tones and we want some black tones. Just on here. So we'll go with a nice little maroon. Black tones. You got the whites there. Let's go with add. Let's go with a noise texture. Color to FAC. We want the black coming in, but we want the whites and the red just kind of in the background. Distort it just slightly. Let's scale this down. Little marbly tiles. Let's go red marble for the material. Red marble 1. Let's see what we can do. Let's go to 7 to heaven so we can see what's going on here. Let's change down the roughness to a nice shine. The metallic up. Let's go with Shift D. And essentially we're just going to make a floor. That's all we're doing really. So let's go Shift D, select both of these, Shift D. Just roughly make that in there. I might just pull these a little bit closer. I essentially just want to make a floor. Shift D, move that across. Shift D. And there's a reason why I've called this as Marble 1, Marble 2, so we can get that little variation going in. So just continue on with your Shift D. And then we'll select random ones to be randomized. Say we can have that much. Let's go ahead and just select random ones, hold down Shift, and just select little ones every so often. And we're going to go ahead, duplicate this texture, and then scale it differently. So you see how this one's changed? Okay, so the next one that we can do, let's go ahead and just name this as Marble 2. Okay, it's the ones that you've selected. Let's go with drop down, Marble 2. You see how that texture's changing right there? Marble 2. Marble 2. So we have that variation within the scene. Want to make this look less 90s graphics than and more up to date, so we could do Marble 2 there. So you could do Marble 3 if you wanted to, so just duplicate this again, new material. This one will be Marble 3. And with this one, maybe we could go ahead and just pull the black over a little bit. Some more constraints with that white, and then scale it upwards. So we've kind of got that different pattern that's coming through. So then we can go ahead and select this one, drop down, marble 3. This one, drop down with marble 3. Just go ahead, just select random ones. Marble 3. Marble 3. So it's just like a totally random floor. Now what you want to do is select absolutely every single one of these tiles that you've just made. Once you're done with your randomizing. Bop, 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 bop. And once we've got this, we're going to go Shift D. Duplicate it that way, Shift D, start duplicating it this way. Just roughly duplicate it down there. And now we have a rough floor. So let's go ahead, just select all of that. Now you might have selected something underneath, so let's unselect this. In fact, you know, I think I've duplicated this a couple of times. Let's get rid of this roof. Select all of these. Oopsie. I've selected those as well. I'm just going to go ahead and just tidy up what I've selected. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so should have one of those. I made a little oopsie, that's fine. Happens. Okay. Right, so select your floor right here, which you've got above. Go ahead, press G, bring this down. Make this as big or as small as you want, so if you need to scale this up, do so. So we just press S for scale. Let's go on to the layout, so we can see what's going on a little better. Press G, bring this down. And you just want it to grace the floor as such. Just make sure that it's within the room. And then if you go 7 to heaven, we can also get this at the back. Just make sure that it's nice and cozy within that room. Shift D, and all you're going to do is duplicate just across here. Shift D, move this up. And if you want to, because you'll notice there's kind of a pattern going on with the floor here, you can also add new materials and textures to this. It's totally up to you whether you want to go ahead and do that. So now we have this nice little room with reflections on the bottom. Obviously the lighting's not great because we need to import the lighting. Let's go ahead and take this space right here and we'll Shift D it. Bring it up. And this is what the lighting should look like if you've got this room. Let's just improve this lighting just ever so slightly. If it'll let me. Come on. Right, we got the cube selected. Let's get the strength up just ever so slightly. And there we go. So the lighting's up, we can see that it's still rendering. I'm going to change this ceiling to black. Got that nice little depth coming through. And of course you can make the ceiling as tall or as small as you want to, but that's generally how I would do it at the moment. This wallpaper is kind of annoying me, I don't like it. Let's go back to shading. I think it's too much. We could have like small little patterns going on. I mean, they're all duplicated. You could change that if you wanted to. Let's see, the frequency is pretty good. Scale that down. It's totally up to you how you want the wallpaper. You could just change it, you know what I mean? You don't have to copy the way that I'm doing it. I'm going to take the floor tiles, actually. I'm going to make them a little bit rougher in some places. So you can kind of see the difference between them. Let's go to the drop down, marble 1. Just change up that roughness just ever so slightly. So it's not perfectly uniform, but it's kind of like a posh room if you wanted to. I mean, it's totally up to you what you want to do with this. It's your design, you know, at the end of the day. But yeah, that's kind of like your posh kind of alternative flooring and wallpaper that you can experiment with Blender. Yeah, if you guys like the tutorial, please like, subscribe. I do crazy funky things like this all the time. Yeah, it'd be great to have the support. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. So before you guys go, this is what it should look like with the chandeliers. Obviously, it's been denoised. But yeah, I'm going to try and render this out and see what I can do with this. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I'll link chandeliers within the comments section so you guys can have a good go at this. At least the comment section, or at least a description. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're looking at the Gabor texture and also how to make an ocean. So we're going to go ahead and delete the default cube. We're going to go to the render engine. Make sure you change cycles, change 2 cycles from Eevee. Let's go ahead and add a plane. And I'm going to go to the modifiers right here. And we're going to go to edits and ocean. So you can see now that we have this kind of ocean kind of theme. We're going to go ahead and just click repeat a couple of times so that we've got that nice little ocean theme in the center just here. So what I'm going to do, let's go to the shading tab and let's go new with shade. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a nice little ocean that we can look at. And also we're going to add a Gabor texture to it just to define a few things within this. So let's go Gabor. Gabor texture right here. You want to place your value into your base colour. We're going to go ahead and we can scale this down just a little bit. And you can see how the Gabor texture kind of places this nice little wave texture over the top. Now this would be great for sand as well as water. What you want to do is take the 2D and we'll change that to 3D, and you can mess around with the frequency a little bit, make it look a little bit more oceany, and the scale. And what we can do as well, let's go ahead and add a colour ramp, and we're going to go plus, and we'll add a nice little kind of blue, kind of grey. And what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and just add some little other textures as well, kind of like a little bit of green or something like that, just in the back, just subtly. And we can take the roughness down, and we can put the metallic up. So this now gives us kind of like this nice little water kind of thing. Also, we can take the alpha down, so this is slightly see-through as well. And I think this is a great technique just to kind of facilitate some looks underneath water. You could also change the blues right here that we have to oranges, and you'll be able to see sand underneath the water, so to speak. I mean, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't do that, not for this project, but we have something like this. So I'm just going to move this blue across just ever so slightly. So if we go ahead and add an object underneath, such as a cube, so go ahead and scale this up and then press G and bring this down. So we have the cube right there in the middle. I'm just going to click off the cube. You can see that this is slightly see-through, so the more that you retract the alpha, the more you'll be able to see the cube, and the less that you retract the alpha, the cube will disappear. So I thought that was a really neat, fun tutorial to do with you guys for today. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. It's Blender tutorial. So we're going to be doing like a little egg timer thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the default cube. And I'm going to add a cylinder. Now usually I do this lengthways up, but for some reason this isn't working correctly tonight. So what I'm going to do is do it on its side and then I'll turn it the right way up. So I'm just going to go Control R, put this loop cut right here, and then I'm going to get rid of the faces on this side and this side and at the bottom here as well, and just press delete. So the idea here is I need to mirror modify this. So let's add a mirror modifier. Let's go to object mode first, add modifier, and we'll do mirror. So you want this one on the Z-axis, and we're just going to go to edit. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to have this as the neck of the bottle. Let's press 7 to 7. We're going to go for E for extrude, scale outwards, very gently, E for extrude, scale outwards, E for extrude, scale outwards, and you just want, essentially just want to make a little bulb kind of thing. E for extrude, we'll scale outwards, E for extrude, scale outwards, E for extrude, and we're going to go E for extrude again, scale it in, E for extrude, scale it in, and then E for extrude, and then we'll scale it in just at the top right here. It doesn't have to be perfect, you can make it a little bit rough if you want to. It's kind of a Halloween-y make. So we got the object mode right here. Excuse me. So we'll shade this smooth. If you've not already, change your EV out to cycles. We'll go new. Change principal BSDF to glass BSDF. And just take down the roughness. So now we've kind of got this nice little bulb glass. What I'm going to do is let's go to add. We'll go mesh, cylinder, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two bulbs right here and we're just going to rotate this by 90 degrees so it stands upright. Take the cylinder that you've just made in the middle when you can click it, and we're just going to go G, bring this up, scale this out so that it's just sat on the top. Edit mode, we'll scale this down, we'll press G, and I'm just going to place it just on the edge just here, scale this outwards, and then I'm just going to press S just to scale down again, so we've got that nice little bevel around the edge. So we're going to take the top face right here, we'll go E for extrude, leave it where it is, scale this outwards, and then E for extrude, bring it up, E for extrude, again we'll scale this in, E for extrude, just give it that little lip, E for extrude again, scale this outwards, and then E for extrude at the bottom, and we will scale this in just to give it that little bit of a bevel, and then E for extrude, and I'm just going to scale this all the way in, and E for extrude so it's got kind of a little base going on. So once we've got this, we can shade this smooth. We'll take this, we'll put it at the bottom, and we'll rotate this 180. So you're going to need a texture for this as well, so I'm going to go with black for this one. And we can then use the same drop down texture for the other side as well. And what we can do is we can add, we can go with cylinder in the middle. Let's go to side view. Just press 1 for side view. We'll press G just to move this across. And what I'm going to do is we'll go to edit mode. I'm going to go ahead and just rotate the... 1 second. Let's go Control R. Just loop cut that. Go to your X-ray bit. And we'll get the lines going across just here. We're just going to press delete faces. And I'm going to take this and we will go with mirror modifier again. So we can go to modifiers right here, add mirror. And just get this to mirror at the bottom just there. So we'll go to edit. Take the face at the top. We're going to go E for extrude. Scale it inwards. E for extrude, and then we're going to go E for extrude again, scale outwards, E for extrude, scale outwards, E for extrude, and then we'll come back in again, just to this point, and then we can kind of go E for extrude, make it kind of like a really funky kind of side bit, E for extrude again, we can scale this out, E for extrude, scale outwards, E for extrude, scale it in. And then E for extrude, scale it in just about there. And then E for extrude, scale it all the way to the top. So it's got this kind of nice little side to it. I'm going to go ahead, shade that smooth. And we'll go into the materials tab and put this as black so it's uniform. So we can go into the inside there. And then what I'm going to do, let's go side view. Shift D. To go onto that side right there, take them both. We're going to go Shift D, R for rotate, and we will go 45, I think. Actually, you know what, we could go 90, just at the sides there. Make sure that it's not touching the glass. And you could go ahead and do another one of these if you'd like, but to be honest with you, I'm going to keep it like this. So when we render, it should look something like this. I'm just going to go ahead and add a plane. Come on. So scale this outwards. I'm just going to press G, bring this down. And this is what it should look like once you've done all of that. So, we don't have much of light in this. So I'm just going to go ahead and amend the light. Pull that up a little bit. Let's press G. Okay, so we need to amend the glass now. So we're going to go for edit mode. A to select everything. E for extrude. And you just want to scale it inwards. Just to create a little bulb on the inside, essentially. So it should look something like this. And now you can edit the IOR. Just to make it a little bit wider. And what you want to do essentially now is we're going to add another circle. Let's take this off X-ray mode. Just 1 second. I'm going to go with side mode. So 1. Let's press G. Bring this down. And I'm going to go into X-ray mode again. So now we can see the inside of the bulb right here. So what you essentially want to do is press G, bring this up. Just align it with the base just here. We're going to go to edit mode. Let's press F for fill. E for extrude. Once you've got it back, hold on. Yeah. Okay, F for fill. E for extrude. Let's bring this up. Scale this out. And just follow the contours of the inside. So E for extrude again. Scale this out. And then E for extrude. Scale this out. Let's press G just to go down again. E for extrude. And then we're just going to scale this out. So, with this particular part right here, we can also go E for extrude, bring this up. And we can kind of scale it in just a little bit. And scale it in a little bit more. So it looks like there's a little lump of sand that's kind of started to appear from where it's poured from the top. Let's go in, just like that. Okay, so we take this, shade it smooth, we'll put new, and we'll make this red. So when we render it, it'll look something like this. Now you can put a little bit of red sand in the top as well with the exact same technique if you want to. Totally up to you how you want to do yours. So if you want to do that, we just go with the circle again. Let's go on side view. So 1, there we go. Okay, add circle, press G, just bring that up. And you're going to press, let's go to edit mode, F for fill, E for extrude, scale it outwards, E for extrude, and then scale it outwards again, and then E for extrude, and scale it outwards. And so that you have the same tone as the base sand, just go to this drop down and just select the red. So this should be the finished product. For whatever you're using it for. You could also go into textures and you could make different things with this as well. So yeah, this is great for like a little gothic piece, something that you can just put on the side kind of thing. Yeah, I hope you guys like this tutorial. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, what's going on, guys? So we're on to our next tutorial now, which is a screwdriver. We're going to be building a basic screwdriver today. So we're going to keep the default cube, I think. I'm just going to press S to just pull this out a little bit. And then I'm going to go into edit mode. We're going to go Control R. Just cut that one in half. And then Control R up on the side as well, just cut that one in half. So, you're gonna want some sides on here as well. So select all of your sides. Sculpt outwards. And then sculpt upwards as well. So this is gonna be the handle for your screwdriver. Then we're going to go E and just pull it in a little bit. E, shape it in a little bit more. And we're just going to make it round at the end. So it's kind of a basic screwdriver shape. Then we're going to start making the handle. So the handle, I'm just going to bring it out a little bit, press G just to move it. So I think that's long enough. E. And then I'm going to scale it outwards. So you've literally just extruded it over the top and then just expanded it out. So we're going to go G, move it forward a little bit. E again. E again. Scale it inwards, just slightly. E again. And this is just going to be the front part. And scale outwards. E, scale outwards again, scale it. This is just going to be the front part of the screwdriver. And I'm just going to scale that one in. So now we want to do the handle. And if we go back to object mode, we'll add a cylinder. Rotate that by 90 degrees. Scale outwards. You want to scale across, sorry. S to scale. Then we're going to place it where the handle should go. Now this is a little bit longer than we want it to be, so we're just going to scale that down a little bit. Just put it back in there. I think. Maybe just move it down a little bit more. Shrink it down just a little bit. Okay, so the end part here, we want to kind of squish it down a little bit. So, we go to edit mode, E for extrude, and then we're just going to scale it down on one side. This is just a basic screwdriver. So, I mean, like, you could edit this however you'd like to. So it's smooth. And then I'm going to go E for extrude. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to scale this out first. And I was thinking about putting, like, maybe the end just there with this object, but to be honest with you, they're more squared off, so I'm going to put a cube and then move it across, and then we're just going to scale this down until it fits the end of our handle right there. And then I'm going to sculpt it out from there. Okay, so I think that should be roughly right. E for extrude, scale it outwards just slightly along the same axis, and then we're just going to go straight ahead, straight forward, and maybe just round it off just a little bit at the ends. So that would be just a basic screwdriver. I could have made it a little bit better, but I think that would do for a basic screwdriver. You could just add the metal as well. So I mean, like, shade smooth, make this smooth as well. If you really wanted to, I don't think it'd be practical making that smooth. But let's see, let's add some red on there. Where are we at? Just change the cycles engine. We want a metallic on this one. It's like dark grey. Maybe turn the roughness down a little bit. Maybe just a bit lighter. And then this one, we're just going to go with the same colour. So yeah, that's your basic screwdriver. I changed that to 500. Oh, no, actually no, 200. 200, yeah, 200 was a good choice. I'm just going to put a plane on there so you guys can see it a little better. I'm going to adjust that lighting as well. That's really harsh. Let's see, let's put it at 50. No, we don't want to go for 50. Let's go put it at 10. Nope, 5. 5's a little better. Oh. But yeah, there you go. That's your basic screwdriver. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Hi guys, welcome to the next Blender tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at depth of field and how to blur objects in the foreground and how to blur objects in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some shapes to this real quick. So basically, essentially what we're doing, we're messing around with the camera settings to make something blurred. So, sorry, 1 second, let me just get this on. Okay, so with your camera, if you already know how to set this to a point, we'll go ahead and just align camera to view real quick. So align camera to view, and then we can click the camera, press G, bring it across. So now if we're on the render tab right here, just make sure that your render is cycles. So we have these two objects right here. We've got a little bit of a light going on in the background, and we'd like to blur the object in the foreground and we'd like to blur the object in the background. So what we're going to do, go to the camera, and what you want to do is go to the wherever it's gone. So the camera tab right here, and we are going to go to depth of field, take this little dropper tool right here at the side and just select your item. So what you want to do is mess with the f-stop under aperture, just underneath depth of field. So if we turn down the aperture, we notice that the object in the background becomes blurred, and if we increase the aperture, the object in the background is in detail. So if you want the foreground object to become blurry, all you need to do is go to here, click off the cube that you've already selected. We're going to go with the dropper tool again, and then we'll select the what do we have? The cylinder at the back, and now the cylinder is in focus and the square's not. So yeah, that's just a really quick kind of tutorial for you guys, based on depth of field. So you're just basically messing around with your f-stop, and then you can go ahead, get the dropper tool, or you can select a different item. So now that item in the background is blurred. Again, f-stop. I hope that was helpful. Someone was asking how did you do the blurred backgrounds and stuff, and that's how it's done. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, welcome guys to the next Blender tutorial. So I just did an entire tutorial and completely forgot to plug in my microphone because life is just kicking me in the backside at the minute. So what is it this week? I've had a broken hard drive, something else broke on me. Oh, everything's breaking at once. Oh, that was it. My phone case decided to fall apart. So I've got a new one coming in the post. Right, so I had a request from one of the people that follows me, and they've asked me whether I can make a chocolate bar, a strawberry, and a banana. Now, the strawberry I'm kind of figuring out at the minute because I want to put all the seeds on the outside, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. The banana, I don't know whether I want it peeled so that you can see the textures underneath, or whether I just want it as a plain Jane banana. So we're going to be doing the chocolate bar today, and hope and I pray that my hard drive doesn't go, because it went last time I was doing tutorials. I've just had a year of bad luck, I really have. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to edit the default cube first. So if you take your default cube, press S to scale. We're going to press S to scale just to squish it down a little bit. And then we're just going to press S to scale just to bring it across to relatively a chocolate bar sized piece. So next what we're going to do, we're going to go Shift D, make a clone of it, and then this is going to be the chocolate piece that we're going to be duplicating all over the bar. So what we want to do, edit mode. So the thumbnail that you'll see on here is actually the chocolate bar that I just made before this. Because it's just, I think it's easier to put that one on, but you know, if your chocolate bar doesn't quite look like that, sorry, I think that I could do it better this time. So if you guys follow along, it should be a lot better. So we're gonna go E for extrude, S to scale in just slightly. We're gonna go with one of those bumpy chocolates. E for extrude again, scale it inwards. E for extrude. I swear someone's just banged on the wall, but to be honest with you, it is 9:30 in the morning and all the school kids have just gone to school, so you know the amount of noise that they make is crazy. So we're going to go S to scale, scale it inwards. We are within social times, so I mean if somebody is, they're just being a bit that's unfortunate. E for extrude, scale inwards. And then we're just going to go scale onto the sides. We want to go G for down. I wouldn't mind anyway, but my neighbours have just made a hell of a lot of noise bringing their kids out of their houses, you know. If somebody is knocking on the wall, and that was for me, you know. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that, but anyway. So we're going to go E for extrude again. And just scale it inwards so that it's got a nice little smooth part to it. Maybe we'll just bring it up just a little bit. And then we're going to go for object mode, shade smooth. And we're just going to scale this down. So we're going to go rotate, and we're going to go 90 degrees. Press G, bring it across. Press G, bring it up. Scale down. We'll go to 7. Press 7 on your number pad. It'll bring you to kind of a bird's eye view. Press G, bring it up. Yeah, I don't like to speak illy of people, but you know, people are going to be noisy in the morning and then complain that you're making noise. You know, it's kind of a bit I don't know what the word is, but yeah. Ironic, shall we put it like that? So just scale this down. Press G. I mean, it's not like I'm shouting or anything, it's talking normally. Right, so we're just going to scale upwards. Just press G to just align it. Scale outwards just slightly. You go Shift D, move it across. What you want to do, relatively, if we just go to 7 again, you see this is off center just slightly. Just get this into roughly center right there. I mean, you can scale these outwards a little bit if you wanted to. To be honest with you, I'm just going to get rid of my one. I'm just going to scale this across just a little bit. And then we're going to go Shift D. And just put it on the side just here. Just try and mirror it as much as we can. We're going to go Shift D. Bring him down. And then we'll go Shift D. Bring them down. So you're just selecting the 4 there. Just press Shift and then click each one. We'll go Shift D again. And then bring these ones down. Now you'll notice that we have this huge space at the end here. So just click the bottom there. Just gonna go edit mode. Click the face at the bottom. Press G. Bring it across. And then what we're going to do, so this is our basic chocolate bar. So as I said, I'm trying to get it to look like the actual thumbnail. So what we're going to do, E for extrude, just scale it inwards just slightly. And then I think maybe take the bottom part right here, this part, and this part. If you guys are wondering what that noise is, it's one of my neighbours with a strimmer outside. It's just like a little whirring noise. I don't know whether you guys can hear it. What I didn't do on the last bar was I didn't bevel this out at the top. So if we go E for extrude and then we just scale it inwards, we can bevel that a little bit so it's a little bit more smoother. Now, right click, shade smooth. And on all of these, they should all be shaded smooth anyway. So we're working in the Cycles engine. So the Cycles engine is right here, under render. What we want to do, the material, we're going to call this cocoa for the chocolate. Let's go with a dark red. It should change absolutely everything to it. So now you can see this is kind of like a dark chocolate kind of vibe to it. So it's a little bit too flat for me. So what I'm going to do, add a little bit of metallic. Just brings the colour up a little bit. Take the roughness. Don't go too smooth. But just enough so that it catches the light. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this light. Lighting's very important. Just go Shift D. Come on. It's taking a while. Shift D. move this across, G, and then we're going to go Shift D again, and then move this across. What I might do with this base is actually just pull it in just slightly, so that it's even. Scale that in, so that it's flush with all the pieces on the outside. Now you can do one thing that I did in my last one, which was select everything, Control J it, and it'll put all of the chocolate bar together. However, if we did it with this one, so if I just go back to the regular render mode, and I just select absolutely everything. If we go to Control J, we can actually stick all these together, and then you get this kind of look. The only problem is with Control J, once you've done Control J, unless you backtrack and you undo what you've done, I don't know if there's anything that can re-separate any of these pieces. So if you want your chocolate bar to be broken in half, say like you've got an animation or something like that, and you want your chocolate bar to be broken by one of the characters, Control J may not be an option for you, but you could totally put these together if you wanted to. So yeah, that's the tutorial. I had to refilm it, but yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I will see you in the next one. Yeah, bye. Okay, welcome guys to the next Blender tutorial. So as you can see, the webcam is currently not working. So my computer's been having a lot of problems at the moment. So one of my hard drives is busted, and one of my hard drives wouldn't show up today. And also the camera's not working properly, the little webcam that I have. So I'm not too sure what's going on. It looks like it's a motherboard issue, or something's not been downloaded, or I don't know at the moment. We're going to try and find out what's going on with this computer. She is at least roughly about 4 years old, so I guess at some point things are going to start to break. So what I'm going to do today, the mic thankfully is working and I can still screencast. So I'm going to show you how to make glowing trees today, and hopefully I can find some sort of solution to these problems that I'm having, because every single day it just seems to be something new that's gone wrong, and it's just it's a big thing. So yeah, let's change to our render settings from Eevee to cycles, and we're gonna go to add. We're gonna go curve, and we're gonna go sampling tree gen. So we also need to get rid of this default cube. Sorry, I'm just gonna backtrack on this a little bit. Also, I need to put the keys on again. My gosh, today's just been like so stressful, because I thought that genuinely one of my hard drives had gone down again, and I thought like that's the hard drive that I make everything on. Like that is something that I really don't want to go down. So we're gonna get the cube out of here. We're gonna get the light out of here as well. We don't need that. Go to your world settings right here in the corner, and we're just gonna go ahead and we're just gonna make everything black, so that when we actually render, the whole background will be black as well. So what I'm going to do is go to add, we're going to go mesh, and we're going to go curve. Sorry, we're going to just go under mesh, go to curve, go to tree sampling gen, and you'll get a little tree just like this. So what you want to do is go to the sampling tree gen right over here in the corner. I'm just going to go ahead and remove these screencast keys so you can see what I'm doing. So right here in the corner, we've got geometry, we have branch radius, splitting, growth. Now you can mess around with these settings as much as you want. I'm looking for the leaves at the moment, so we're going to go show leaves, and then we have these beautiful leaves that come on just here. So I'm just going to make this as a generic tree just for this tutorial, because I don't have everything that I need right now, because I'm a little bit concerned about the way that this PC is kind of operating right now. So I don't want to put too much pressure onto it. I just want to find out what's going on, and then I can try and figure out why we've got the problems that we do. So if we go onto the regular render mode, we can see that there's no light coming from this tree. What you want to do, go onto this mode right here, select the leaves, make sure that you don't select the tree, because the leaves and the tree are two different objects. We're going to go back to this render mode right here. Go to material, you want to press new right here. We're going to go to principled BSDF and then go to emission. And you'll notice now that these leaves all start glowing. So you can change the colour to this any way that you'd like. You can have it kind of like a lime green or something. The original tree is always going to stay the original material. This one doesn't actually have a material at the moment, so we can go with new. And then we can go, say like a dark brown or something like that, for that part of the tree. And then all these leaves are glowing. So you can actually reduce the glow if you'd like to as well. Just kind of give it a slight glow so that we can see some of these branches that are going on in the back. I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this tree right here. Just to give us some different colours and stuff like that. So if we have both of these trees, we can go ahead and take this material right here, just duplicate it so it's material 03. And then we can go ahead and change this one to a different colour from this one. So now we have this kind of very nice pink glowing tree, and then we have this tree right here. If you wanted to, you could add some bump nodes onto the bark right here, just to kind of give some little impressions. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, that's how you basically make trees glow, like the movies, within this program. And what you could actually do as well, you could take like these leaves right here. So if I could just grab these ones. Okay, so if we go Control D, and then we can duplicate these. So right here, we can actually put this onto a new material. And we could put this as, say, like a principled BSDF. So now we have some leaves that glow, we have some leaves that don't. So this could give us a little bit more definition as well. So we just press G and just bring this up a little bit. We can now kind of get this very funky kind of weird striped tree with a little bit of undertoning going on compared to the solid colour of the emission right here. So yeah, that's the tutorial for today. I hope you guys like it. Please subscribe. I'm going to try and make some more tutorials before my computer completely goes. Hopefully I can get it fixed. It seems to be working pretty well on the graphics actually, so there's definitely nothing wrong with the graphics card or the processing units, or the RAM. In fact, the RAM seems absolutely fine, but there's definitely something going on with the motherboard. So I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a bowl. So it's not too dissimilar from the plate that we previously made. If you guys want to go to that tutorial, it's on my channel and possibly in the playlist that you're currently watching. So it's very similar to a cup. It's like we're going like cup bowl kind of melding kind of thing. I don't know. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and delete the default cube. You want to make sure that you're in the Cycles engine, because the tutorials, of course, are all in Cycles. So we'll go to Add, we'll go to Mesh, and then we'll go to Circle. You're going to want to zoom in or maybe make your circle a little bit bigger. So Edit Mode. So we have all of the points selected right now. Press S to scale so that we can work with a bigger object so that you can see what you're doing better. And what we want to do is we want to press F for fill. We're going to go E for extrude, and we're just going to bring up the second face. S for scale to go outwards again. E for extrude, S for scale, and then we're just going to go E, S, and I will show you from the side view right here what we're doing. So you just want to you just want to go, you know what a bowl looks like, I guess. So you just want to go from very small at the bottom to quite large, and then we're going to come in and we'll do the inside. So select this face again. We go E for extrude, and then you're going S for scale, which I'm on S for scale. E for extrude, S for scale, and we're just going to work our way up. It's that simple. Make sure that you're scaling all the way around, you're not just on one vertices. E for extrude, S for scale, and as we get closer to the top, we're just going to get steeper and steeper. That's all we need to do. And we get a little bit closer. The more vertices that you have and the more faces that you have, the smoother your object will be. But if you do subdivide, the more random access memory your project may take up. So it makes your computer a little bit slower, but we'll come to that bridge when we get to it. So we're just going to go up a little bit more and up one more, and I think that will do. For a basic bowl shape, it's a bit of a tall bowl. I'm just going to pull that down a little bit, and then we're going to go S for scale inwards, E for extrude, keep it on the same level, S inwards so that it's flat, E for extrude, and we're going to go downwards, scale just slightly inwards. Now I'm going to make this one an X-ray vision so you can see where I'm going with this. So if it's a porcelain bowl, it will be a little bit thicker. If it's a plastic bowl, it will be a little bit thinner. So depending on what you're going to make your bowl as, is how big the inside of your bowl is going to be. So then we're going to go E, and we're just going to scale outwards just slightly, just to make a little bit of a lip. And then we're going to go E again, and you notice that we're coming down on the inside of the bowl right here. I'm just going to stop there, and then I'm going to go E again. And then at the bottom, we want to sculpt round. So we're going to go scale, make sure that it's even on all sides, just press S. And then E for extrude again, click. And then we're going to go S to scale in. I think I've gone a bit too far there, so I'm just going to bring mine up. And then E. And you just want to, you want that little gap at the bottom. Scale in again, and that's going to smooth out the bottom of the bowl for you, so that when you come to the object mode, right click and click shade, and there we go. There we have it. This is a bowl, just for you to use for your projects, to put into your projects, to add colour and stuff like that, and to add textures. I'm going to be doing that in a later tutorial. My tutorials basically focus on making the objects first, and then I'll teach you how to do all the textures on top of it. So you've got a file full of plain objects, and then later on I can teach you how to texture those objects and what you basically need to do. I'll also teach you like the old ways of texturing as well, because I used to go out with a camera and take photos of things, and you had to get them directly over the top, and then you kind of repeat the pattern across an entire object. Nowadays we use nodes, so nodes are a lot more reliable than a photograph, because if one side of your photograph is slightly out, or it's got a lot of exposure or very underexposure, it can mess with your projects like crazy, and it doesn't look detailed, and you can tell there's a pattern. It's like if you look at a field full of grass and you see a pattern kind of emerging in that field of grass, and you see lines, that's generally when something has been UV mapped, compared to nodes where the computer will place random objects. So I will show you how to make those. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Okay guys, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a clipboard. So I mean, it's a basic kind of build. And I kind of wanted to put something a little bit more simple on there, because I like to, at the minute, I'm trying to transition from having all the simple stuff that I'm making to making bigger things. So you guys can enjoy Blender a little bit more. But it's like, in my mind, I just want to go to the bigger projects like immediately. I realise that some of you are really kind of at that beginner stage, so I don't want to push you too far if, you know. Anyway, if we go with the plane to begin with, I'm just going to move this outwards a little bit. I'm just going to scale it across just slightly so it's about the size of a clipboard. And then what we're going to do is we're going to edit mode. You can subdivide this a couple of times, but you definitely want to subdivide the top sections. Just go ahead and subdivide that. So what you want to do now is just select the corners. Just press shift and click each corner. We're going to scale it upwards just slightly and then inwards just slightly, just to kind of give that little bit of a curve. Yeah, to be honest with you, we could just select everything again and just subdivide, so we've kind of got a little bit more of a curve going on. So just grab the edges. Oops, you know what, I'm going to just scope that a little bit. So it should look something like this. We're just going to grab the edges. And we're just going to scale inwards. So it kind of gives that little bevel going on. You can bevel this if you want to. Just press A to select everything. E for extrude. Just going to bring this up a little bit. E for extrude again. And then we're just going to scale it in just slightly. So you kind of have this little bevel thing going on. Don't worry if it's not perfect to begin with. You just want to extrude that just inwards. And then we're going to select from the faces, this corner to the opposite corner, pressing shift and control. And we're just going to go E for extrude. And then we're just going to scale it inwards. Now at this point you realise that the clipboard's a little bit too thick. So what we're going to do is press A. I've done this on purpose. And we scale downwards so that it's thinner. So you've got that nice little bevel going on. If you wanted to just bevel a typical cube, you can do. But this, for me personally, just works a little better. So now we're going to go ahead and add a cube. And this is going to be the silver part for the top of the clipboard. So I'll just scale it out as needed. Scale it inwards. And then we're just going to place it at the top right here. Just try and get that as flush as you possibly can by scaling it down. And then we're just going to go shade smooth. Now on this one we could do texture, we could do silver, and then just pull up the metallic just a little bit and pull down the roughness. So we should be on Cycles engine. I'm just going to pull that metallic a little bit. So the next part of the clipboard, let me see. Just try to see if we can get a photo up so that I can see one a little bit better. So this one in particular, we just want to shorten this metal piece right here. So I'm just going to go scale, shorten it down just slightly, bring it across, and then we can start adding the actual clip to it. So the clip generally is usually a piece that comes round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go add, and I'm just going to add another cube just to give this a little bit of a box. So just press G, bring it across, scale it down, press G again. Just going to scale it up. I'm just going to bring these two across. Now our little clip should sit in the middle here. So what I'm going to do, I think, I'm just looking at a few of these photos here of what we can add to this. So yeah, I think the best thing to add to this would be cylinder at the back, and then we'll work our way around from there. So just rotate this by 90, G, scale it down, scale it across, scale down again. Just going to go ahead and plonk this right here. Maybe just bring this up a little bit. And then we're going to make the part that comes around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do with a plane. A plane might actually work best for this. I'm going to bring this up. Just bring it to the front right here. Make sure that it aligns perfectly. Then we're just going to scale this outwards. And then I'm going to bevel the edges, and then we're going to wireframe it, because I think wireframe would look a little better on this. So, instead of beveling the edges the way that we did originally, we're just going to go to modifier, go to bevel, if this works. Okay, maybe we're not doing the bevel today. But anyway, we go to wireframe on here. And now you see that we've got the wireframe going around the edges. So we just want to make this thickness a little bit bigger. Let's offset this a little bit. Go to edit mode. I'm just going to go E for extrude, just to extrude it a little bit. You just want these two pieces just to kind of interact just slightly. So scale it inwards. Just going to press G just to bring it up. And then what I'm going to do is take these side pieces right here. I'm just going to make these black. And then I'm going to make this one a standalone kind of silver, I guess. Maybe like gold. Turn up the metallic a little bit. Then we could do a roughness on the back here. Maybe it's a pink folder. And that's your basic kind of clipboard design. There's other designs as well that you could try out, but for me that's generally the clipboards that I went to school with. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I want to try something a little bit better than clipboards and stuff like that, because I'm kind of just getting bored of making individual objects. I want to make something big for you guys, you know. And my brief's like, oh, today we're doing a clipboard, today we're doing blah blah blah, and it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to make something bigger. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, like, follow, stuff like that. Yeah, we'll get on to bigger projects, because projects like this for me are tedious, because I've done it hundreds of times in the past. And it just becomes repetitive. So I'm going to try and get some better tutorials and see what I can put out there, because I want to teach you guys how to make bigger things. For sure, I'm passionate about that. So yeah, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, welcome guys.